We're here at day three of TIE Global Summit 2020, coming to you with the next discussion, which is gaming and media SIG, esports and gaming in cricket, challenges and opportunities. I have a fantastic panel that will introduce themselves, starting with Manish Agarwal. Over to you.
Thank you, Gunjan. Hi, everyone there. This is really interesting panel, and thanks for Vijay for proposing it. Vijay was thinking about what should we do, and he said, why not make cricket and esports and virtual cricket, bring it all together. And I really thank all my panelists who were kind enough, nice enough to really come and join. Uh, so really welcome everyone on this future of cricket, how it's going to look like. Uh, this is going to be a super exciting time. Myself, Manish, uh, I head a company, gaming company called Nazara, which is based in Mumbai. It is one of India's largest gaming company, uh, pretty diversified into multiple aspects from esports to gamified learning to sports simulation games, um, real money gaming. So all of that. But that's not why I'm here to kind of pitch Nazara, to kind of really tell you about what I do. But I'm here to really uh, show you what kind of possibilities lie. A lot of us have spoken about the COVID times. A lot of us have spoken about what COVID has done to gaming. But I think one of the things which is really important and key is that some of us here on the panel have been talking about gaming for many, many years. And we believe that this is what is going to really happen. And we are seeing it unfolding and accelerating in front of us. A lot of you are aware about FIFA game. Some of you would have played it. Most of you would have seen yourself when you were really playing today or your kids playing. We believe that, and I personally believe that the virtual cricket, an opportunity around virtual cricket is going to be massive. Uh, what you've really seen, uh, the 500 million people watching live cricket broadcast, um, 200 million odd, 250 million odd watching it on Hotstar. Uh, People wouldn't have thought that on a small mobile device somebody will be watching a cricket match. It was supposed to be a common TV room experience, watching it with friends and all of it, but times are changing. And yes, they are changing, and we believe that the fast forward of it is going to be virtual cricket 365 days. You don't have to worry about rain, cloud, somebody digging up the pitch, or somebody doing some other activity, or COVID. You can just really enjoy a beautiful game of cricket being played on mobile by experts and professionals. And I really see an opportunity of quote unquote Virat Kohli's and Sachin Tendulkar's emerging of virtual cricket. So without much ado, I will really introduce the really expert panel here, which is living, breathing, and unfolding and creating future. And I would really start from Akshat and then we can go around.
Hi, my name is Akshat Rathi. I'm the managing director and the co-founder of Nodwin Gaming. We are among the top companies in the world now that understands this space called eSports. And we've been there for a couple of years, and we're part of the Nazara family and friends of
Raj, do you want to come in?
Yeah, I'm Rajendran. I'm a founder and CEO of Next Wave Multimedia. We are developers of World Cricket Championship, current version WCC3. We are the largest, most downloaded, most played cricket game in the world. So we do a lot of esports with also with Akshat and some of the well-known esports tournaments in India on cricket or on WCC.
Thanks, Raj. Rahul?
Hi, good evening. My name is Rahul. I run a company called Jadoos, uh, which essentially takes entertainment to smaller towns. We take movies in mini theaters. We take sports through VR sports, including cricket and cricket tournaments. We take experiences through VR, and we take a cafe coffee day to a small town, but we do only small towns. Uh, yeah, that's really me and where we are.
Sujit.
Hi everyone. Name is Sujit Somsundar. So I've been an ex cricketer, played for the country a few matches for my state, quite a number of years. Yeah, been into coaching and mentoring. Right now, I had the cricket education at National Cricket Academy. Uh, yeah, so into real sport and playing cricket and coaching and mentoring. That's about who I am. Yeah.
Sujit, we are going to make you a coach for virtual cricket also.
I don't know if it is that makes my job easier, but yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, you should meet Akshat and he can really give you stories about the game houses and the coaches which are really coming across in virtual sports.
Yeah, exciting. Yeah, sure.
To the man who put it all together, Vijay.
Hi, this is Vijay Kotrapa. So I'm based in Los Angeles, and I'm part of a Thai Global. I'm a Thai Global trustee. And in this capacity, I'm heading up the Thai's media, entertainment, and gaming group. But separately, I ran a couple of companies before, and I'm an avid investor. So with that, I'll leave it back to Manish and the experts.
Thank you, Vijay. Thank you, everyone. Really interesting set of things. I would like to just open up with a video. Let me see if it plays.
One. Safar has lost 2 wickets and 2 balls, comes back with a good 6. Here Rohit will hit that for a 6 as well. Now we see the first ball of the third match. Rohit starts off well, will get a 4, 1 bounce. So maybe the lead is neutralized a little bit, but Rohit is not letting down. He's hit a 6 over deep backward point. That is out as well. What is happening in this final? Both teams losing wickets simultaneously.
5 lakh rupees as champions of the Mobile Cricket Championship.
Glorious one. Oh, that is gold. The ball comes in, the top edge, and it's a 4.
ILG champion of WCC rivals. Give it up, Anil. What an effort. He slogs it over to the midfield region.
Thank you, Raj. So guys, this is all happening in India right now. And this was happening in stadiums. It is happening in the eSports offline tournaments. Massive amount of people participating, and you have commentators and people standing and watching, and more and more people watching on Hotstar and all of it. So this is what we are seeing. This is what we are witnessing. And like any other game, this is really comes from the experience of commentary, players, and all of it. With this, Akshat, I will come to you. You have really built esports. You have built esports into PC gaming. You are leading it globally on mobile. What's your view on the whole virtual cricket and esports? And what do you see as an opportunity and challenges here?
So thanks so much, Manish. One of the big things that we've seen across the world is people fundamentally love to go ahead and engage on whatever is their passion on their other devices, right? So as Raj has built, and with the millions of DAO and MAU that Raj has on WCC as an ecosystem, The fact that is this interesting enough for people to go ahead and play is not in question. It is, I think it is moot. I think millions, I think it's one of the top 3 games, if not the top. It's among the top 3-4 games in the country of India. Not a question. The question that is there is, what is the kind of format that we want to go ahead and have for cricket esports to go ahead and be adopted by people? And that's where we've seen one of the lessons that has been learned is with FIFA, with Madden in the US, with NFL. People have come back and said very quickly that you can't go ahead and run a 20-over match or even a 50-over match or, God forsake, a test match on virtual cricket or esports. That won't work. I think the question and the derivation that we need to now go ahead and figure out is what is the kind of match format and competitive formats that you can go ahead and have for people to be watching? Because the question here is, for cricket to be an esport, it needs to be a broadcastable property for us. And that's the experiments that have been running right now. What works for people, not just to play, but for my perspective, to watch, which is there. Now, is that a format question? Is that a structuring question? Is that a league format? Is that a one-on-one? Is it a 1 over versus 2 overs? Is it synchronous? Is it asynchronous? Are the questions that the industry is going through. And I think in the next 3 to 6 months, those will be solved.
Cool. Thanks, Akshat. Rahul, Raj, there are lots of naysayers. They say, like, listen, that real fun, the real thing is missing when you're playing virtual. The real thing is when you go out and you really experience the shot and you really enjoy the whole physical aspect of it. What's your view on that? And Raj, since you have millions of users who are playing your game and you've done real-time multiplayer, you've done asynchronous multiplayer.
Yeah. On the opportunity side itself, we have seen before coming into the excitement of playing the game virtually, on the business opportunity side, we've seen that, probably, cricket gaming, virtual gaming is probably the most under leveraged right now. And it's exploding, I feel in the last 12 months, and then we're going to see significant growth going forward. Also that we've seen, sponsorship revenues, broadcast revenues growing leaps and bounds every year. And cricket board or the key gatekeepers didn't, look at any other opportunity. They were, had a lot of opportunity right there between sponsorships and broadcast rights. Now, I think as, the growth there, I think virtual cricket is the next big thing. And we have seen that, from, in fact, every one we engaged with for our esports events, whether it's Dew Arena, the event that we did with Nordwin, or recently, the number of registrations have really, exceeded the expectations of the brands, and then they've been very happy with the engagement that they saw during the tournament phase. And I think, as far as, it mimics, is virtual cricket as engaging or as exciting as the real world cricket? I think it follows some very similar thing. I think we love the game of cricket because we also love its heroes, Sachin or Rohit, or Virat Kohli. I think similarly, those heroes are getting created and in the virtual arena. I was very surprised to see that during these virtual events, these star teams come in. People are crowding around them, getting autographs, and the casters are celebrities in their own right. These are been taking place in the last 12 months. For me, it was a revelation when we had our first tournament. And there was a young boy who came in, and a lot of crowd around him trying to get autographs. So I think we are creating those ecosystem that excitement is getting created. The teams, the star players are getting created. Real life. So we are seeing that path to that, and it's growing pretty rapidly.
Rahul, you operate cafes and really, and you're bringing VR into small towns of India, and cricket is a religion for us. How do you see this really playing in a very immersive experience, which VR or a mixed reality can bring? You're on mute.
So, 3 or 4 points. So we ran our first VR cricket
You have to
tournament.
come closer to the speaker.
We ran our first VR cricket tournament in Shillong. This was about a year back. And the second one we ran in a place called Pindra, which is a very, very small town, 40, 50 kilometers from Varanasi. Uh, a lot of excitement, uh, a lot of people registering, a lot of people wanting to come and play, a lot of people going with the wow factor. While we were learning the ropes of this and how far this could go, the pandemic set in. Uh, we would be setting the whole thing again with about 15 sites in March. But prima facie, lot of excitement, the ability to have a stadium around you and the ability to play a ball at its pace uh, was wow. No two ways about it. People were willing to pay 50 to 70 rupees over. The repeat footfalls were a lot. Uh, on the right track, but then pandemic set in, so can't really have a judgment call. And having said that, uh, in pandemic, during the pandemic, we've been getting requests from the places where we are opening our rural sports cafes and the theaters. When are you going to start? I think a lot of them have consumed this on the mobile. They want to go to the next level. And the people who had seen the VR part, they're coming back to us and saying, can we have a VR kind of tournament in our town? So, huge scope. They'll never get stadiums there where we go. And this is like 90% of India. They've savored the mobile. A lot of them, they love it. And back to reality will either be their stadium or their ground or maybe something virtual. No two ways about it that we will have virtual hubs. And these would be consumed by people who've consumed this on the mobile. They're consuming it on the mobile and they want to experience what people in the towns otherwise are experiencing. So that's really where we stand. Very exciting, very interesting. Uh, VR would be there in certain ways. To what extent, don't know. At what price, don't know. That discovery will start sometime in March.
I can just share my personal anecdote. I'm forgetting the name of the company. They've come to office to demo the whole VR, and they just laid out a green patch, stumps, and this was a bat they gave me, which was having a full the chip, and I had put Oculus, and the experience was amazing. The feeling of bat in my hand with actually, you could choose some fast-paced spin, everything bowling, and then the whole, you're standing in a stadium, you could hear the whole crowd cheering. Uh, it was amazing experience. I thought I'll just play 2 balls and rush back to my work. And I just continued playing for 2, 3 hours because that was really amazing. And if you're hit, uh, and you're missing if your timing is not right. If you hit 4, the cheering of the crowd felt like you are a hero. You are a gladiator in that stadium. So it was amazing experience. I don't know how they've expanded and moved. They were trying to expand into Middle East and other places. Sujit, this brings to you. Uh, do you think the cricket control boards, and Raj mentioned, do you think the boards would be open to such an idea? How about the player community itself? Do you think the ex-players, current players would be open to adopting the virtual cricket, board supporting it, and looking at it as an alternate engagement to these fans? What are your views?
Well, at this point in time, I think it's a little ambitious to think of boards getting into it. I think it's a little ambitious if I see it that way yet. um, but then these franchisees, like the IPL franchisees, I think it's more a fan engagement kind of a model where the franchisees might be interested in looking at this as fan engagement. But then the boards getting into it, I mean, if they what is the purpose and why would they want to get into it? Probably it is revenue and it's a marketing thing. So if that has to happen, then they need to sort out how the finances are handled. I think because the boards are primarily interested in creating sportsmen and promoting the real game, but this aspect will come in uh, when it has to come in to finances and marketing and getting some revenues there. But I don't really know. I mean, yeah, I think you gave me this experience of having to physically hit a shot and maybe wear those things. And I don't know, you said you faced an over. Were you really swinging the bat at the ball, or you just, I mean, is that how the experience is? And if that is the case, then I don't know if this is real cricket. The skill required is the real skill that is required in cricket. No, not really. So it's a little ambitious right now to think of the boards getting involved, I think.
So it brings me to a very interesting point, which Akshat would love to reply. You mentioned two things. One was real game, and you mentioned about whether you really need skill to play a eSports or a virtual sports. And that's a favorite topic of Akshat, and I will let him unleash at you.
Yeah, sure.
Well, Sujit, I beg to differ. So, well, let's actually quantify that, right? So I think if we rewind ourselves about 100 years ago, and we got someone who used to go ahead and play the game of cricket in the right way, the prim and proper way, which used to be England versus Australia, and no one else could actually play it. And how shame on you to go ahead and say that a brown man could actually go ahead and actually try and play that game because you don't know how to play it right. That's not the real skill that is required versus us going through the pajama cricket of one day versus 2020, which is not real at all. It's just an entertainment item which is there. I think the best way to go ahead and answer that, so just on that specific word of skill, right? A WWE athlete requires skill, right? He requires the same amount of skills as a wrestling athlete does. He does. They just need to go ahead and know. They need to know how to fall right. They need to go ahead and learn all the wrestling moves. Now, whether they go ahead and become an entertainment aspect, which is predominantly led out of that WWE aspect versus the Olympic wrestling activity, is moot. We've seen in both sports, someone like a Kurt Angle win gold medals in both and then becoming really famous in both, right? That takes care of the skill part. I think skill is definitely something that is a prerequisite for this. And the International Olympic Council, under the Citius, Altius, Fortius definition of sport, which is stronger, higher, or faster, has definitely gone and said esports is fundamentally a speed competition. I react faster than you in milliseconds, right? Whether I go ahead and whether it's a slip guy going and catching a ball with the right skill with a certain reaction time versus me going and shooting someone in Counter-Strike or PUBG Mobile or whatever, right? As long as the device can create a differentiated view of skill, which is predominantly a speed competition, we definitely have a physical skill. Why it's called sports, right? Otherwise, and that's accepted across the world. Now, your first point, which is actually far more valid here, is what is this activity for? Is very important, right? So different IPL teams have looked at going and doing something around esports, and so have other teams across the world. The NBA currently runs something called the NBA 2K League, which is the official esports league, which not only promotes the game of 2K, but also creates a broadcast property, which makes brand endorsements and engagement and longevity to cricket much more relevant, right? So that's where I think you're absolutely right. What can cricket do with, what will boards use virtual cricket / esports cricket for? Is to go ahead and get a new genre of people who are below the age of 15, potentially, or 16, 17 in India, who have stopped watching cricket to go ahead and come back to cricket. And that's whether it's a user acquisition tool or a monetization tool, I'll leave it to the business guys to go ahead and answer. But that's just my view.
Raj, you wanted to come in?
Yeah. So, our interactions with, Cricket Australia, we run their official cricket game, mobile cricket game for Big Bash League. Our interactions with Cricket Australia, our interactions with Chennai Super Kings, especially Cricket Australia, we've seen that there's a lot of interest in looking at virtual cricket as a medium to engage around the year is one thing. They also, approach it with the intent of popularizing the game. Especially in a country like Australia, they're looking at it also as a, revenue, also as a point of, creating revenue. So it's not just revenue. Better engagement, round the year engagement with their audience, popularizing the sport, because all cricket boards, their big mission the big mission is to popularize the game, make the game exciting, because and the fans also, it satiates a very important thing of the fans, that I can, be that hero in my virtual version, my favorite hero. I can play this thing. And I've seen that whenever we go talk to them, not only just the virtual single player mode, whenever we say eSports, there's great amount of excitement. I think the cricket board will be very eager. Just that they are not the enablers. I think the game producers and the game developers, publishers, they are the catalysts, and they have to work alongside the board. But there is a lot of excitement. There's tremendous. I mean, every other cricket board that we've spoken to are very eager. And that's the thing from our experience, that from our interaction with the cricket.
Can I come in, Raj?
Yeah. It's
Sure.
open.
Yeah, so it's great. I think Akshat had a very valid point about the skill. I don't know. I mean, yeah, so you can make the virtual reality as real as facing a ball, and you might have to move the same set of muscles. You need to just have the same kind of footwork and all of that. That's something that brings in a different kind of skill, or yeah, it involves skill. And to the point that Raj made, there are a lot of these boards, like the countries outside of India. We have a problem of plenty still. I'm sure we'll get to the stage where the next generation might not want to play cricket, and then we will probably want to popularize the game and get a lot of youngsters pulled into the game, and want them to stay in the game. That is a problem in Australia. I mean, he mentioned Australia. Yes, I see that, and a lot of countries where there are not enough younger generation and the kids playing the game. So they need to popularize. And I think this is a wonderful medium. And that's the opportunity that I see. But in India, to popularize the game, I don't think that is a requirement. It is only a monetization kind of a thing. And that's a great opportunity. But the challenges are that
different boards look at different, think differently.
Yeah. All right.
Vijay, that brings me to you. US, massive excitement recently about US Cricket League. A lot of big guns have jumped in, from tech CEOs to Bollywood stars. US cricket is suddenly the hottest space to really look at. You are an entrepreneur. Do you see an opportunity of a virtual cricket league in US?
Absolutely. The reason is there is interest, but there's a lack of skill. Obviously, there are youngsters who are interested, and there are the older generation as well who knew cricket, who followed cricket. They will definitely not be as skilled as others, but it'll bring a different skill set. But more importantly, it brings the interest level back in, and it's something that even in Los Angeles we have cricket leagues, but these are very amateurish, and people try. They go out on the weekends and they do play. But being able to play from home, being able to not have that level of stamina that's really required for a physical cricket, but getting all the full engagement and getting all the other excitement, I think has a has a huge scope. And that gives you the growth factor in the US also, just like Sujit was mentioning. The cricket is obviously much lower level in the US than any other the other countries. But this, I think, could be a good medium to popularize it. And it's a different medium. So it'll actually engage worldwide versus just the US. And geography is a big challenge in the US. So that the virtual cricket, the eSports and cricket will actually address that as well. So I think there's a huge opportunity here in the US for that.
Yeah, I just keep thinking about India-Pakistan virtual cricket happening anywhere you're sitting, and that's a really firecracker of a game which you could really think of. You can't play in Pakistan. Pakistan can't come here, but in a virtual world, you can really have an outstanding game with real cricketers commentating in the game or esports, and the entire passion. Akshat and can really bring it to life. Akshat, do you want to pitch it to Vijay right away?
And I'll go back into what I said. I get it and I like it, but we need to convince people like Sujit more, right? And we need to go ahead and convince a lot more people that this is. I don't think the strategy of saying this is as good as cricket will work, because we will never be as good as cricket.
Yeah.
Ever. Let's not. That's a fight not worth having. So then the question which is there is, we are a different form of cricket, which is fine, right? And I think our stars might go ahead and take from the initial stars of cricket in terms of adjacency, but we will build our own heroes. Our heroes will be the equivalents of the mortals that are there in PUBG Mobile or the Carry Minatis who are the casters. We will create these new heroes out there, which will have different skills. They will have skills, but they will not be the same skills. They will not be the same muscle groups. They will not be, think of it like athletics, right? Someone who does the steeplechase, someone who does the marathon versus someone who does the 100-meter dash are all employing different skill sets, different staminas, different which is there. I think that we are at the birth of, in esports, with cricket esports, we are there. We are at the birth, we are at the onset, the birth of a new set of skills that would be required. And format, right? I don't think, how will you go ahead and play a 20-over game? Are we having 11 people per team? Are we going to have 5 bowlers to go ahead and do this? That was all required because human beings tend to get energy sapped out of bowling 6 balls at 150 kilometers an hour, right? Is that what we're going to do? How will we have the new format of people playing? How will we have the new format of people competing? How will we have them as broadcast while keeping the skill set and the adjacency to cricket is the key question here. That's the tough question.
Shad, have you explored and thought about virtual reality led esports here? Because when your experience is very adjacent to real life versus mobile, which is still kind of away. But here you are kind of holding a physical bat and you are in the pitch and you can really see what's happening. Do you think that can be a much better opportunity to, let's say, partner with somebody like Rahul and create virtual reality based esports in India, where people are used to having that kind of experience?
And again, superbly well put question, right? So virtual reality esports for cricket, and let's just look at the asynchronous ways. Smash used to go ahead and do that very actively with the Smash centers where you used to go ahead and play. To me, that was mixed reality. You could go stand in front of a screen, a ball used to come, you had a real bat in your hand and do that. Can we take that to one step further? Absolutely. Should we go ahead and try and take that? Depends on who you're making this for, right? Again, I go back to my broadcast angle. A person putting on a headset with wires sneaking out from behind his head in standing in front of nothing to go ahead and swing his bat and something is not great broadcast experience. This is not loved by people. You need to be a little more raw. You need to be a little, so that means you have to go take the in-game experience and go ahead and show that, which is esports, which is good at. Unfortunately, the broadcast format has not yet come in. So virtual reality makes this kick ass. I'd love a world in which cricket esports starts with WCC being the mass 40-50 million people who go play at it. We find the top 100 people in India. They go through into virtual reality as a as a second stage, and where they still need to go out and show their skills, which have been honed on virtually on the WCC ecosystem, so that when you're finally broadcasting it, you still have certain control where people will advertise on it on broadcast. People will go ahead and pay media rights for it, and people will want to watch it for more than 2 minutes. I want people to watch 30 minutes of it or 40 minutes of it.
So, Sujit, one question. So you are a cricket coach. In let's say when I was doing my power engineering, we used to have simulators, and we used to run power plants and understand how to do it. Do you see a role of virtual cricket in whole simulation, reflexes, timing, uh, kind of an thing? And do you see something happening on that front?
Oh, well, I was just thinking of it. In fact, I had a same kind of a question and an opportunity I saw for, when Akshat and all of you were talking about the VR aspect. And so if, for example, I'm just, thinking aloud. So if I'm padded up, let's say, and if I have to go and face the next over of, I can think of Brett Lee now, top of the head. So if he's bowling there and if I'm padded up, if I have to go and face him, I remember somebody talking about maybe while you're waiting to go out there and play, maybe you could experience facing Brett Lee already in the pavilion, having padded up, and probably simulate the kind of overs and the speeds and the angles that he is bowling at and the kind of pitches. I think uh, that can be done in the software and the kind of technology and advancements that we see. And if he is warming up there, he's better off there to go and face the real thing. At least he starts well. That's one. And then the other interesting thing that you talked about is in the coaching aspect itself. I think in many countries they can't go out and play, and it's because of the weather, whatever it may be, and they have these indoors. So I think there is a lot of scope and an opportunity there to create this kind of a simulation. Simulation is the name of the game. Even if it is real net practice, let's say if it is real net practice where you see a lot of bowlers come and bowl at you, there are bowling machines, but then the real bowlers will give you the added aspect of creating the real thing that you go and face. But it's still an indoor net practice. It's not giving you the perception, the decision making. You're not building those skills. You're just building the physical skills. But then VR can come in there, and it can create that kind of an environment which you need to simulate that. If you want to prepare a player skill versus technique, in nets, it's only the technical part. It's only 1/3 of the equation. What about the mental pressure? What about the decision making, the perception of all of those? I think VR can bring that in. And if they can be really precisely bringing in those aspects, why not? In the coaching aspect, we can create the real thing that a player experiences when he actually goes out there and plays in the real game situation. So game simulation, the game sense training, I think it has a lot of scope in VR, Manish.
Raj,
Manish, I'll just jump into one little thing. I think we all, a couple of us know Rahul Dravid mutually. One day I was asking Rahul about this, and he says, Akshat, facing a 150-kilometer ball is not just about facing having the fortitude over it. It should, when it hits you, it hurts, right? It hurts and it's really bad. But the first time it hits you, you understand that you need to get away from it. You need to either hit it or duck away from it. And the next level of virtual reality, if we actually go there, especially on simulation, is going to be haptic. That is actually becoming like that. If it hits you, it shouldn't just have rumble pads like how you have on PlayStation. It should actually understand that that's the thing, because humanity learns from very strong experiences and inputs to go ahead and say, that's why I shouldn't do something as stupid as trying to go ahead and take that 150-kilometer ball on my head, right? So otherwise we'll go ahead and build lackadaisical or weird things. It'll go even more into comical virtual reality rather than simulation virtual reality.
Yeah. And I think we know that even on a mobile game, when you do cartoonish casual cricket, in the cricket guys don't like it. And enough and more experiments have been done, including yours truly, which have failed, and learned from experience. And that's why realistic simulation game done by people like Raj, Rules the Roost. Raj, I have only one question for you. I'm going to put you a little bit on spot here. Uh, FIFA, super popular. What do you think will make WCC super popular, equivalent of that? We have almost a close to 600 million, 700 million people who love cricket on this planet. So what is that you would really, and that's what your vision is, but what is that you're seeing as challenges?
I think, if you look at, esports in cricket itself, we had a popularly, mass access to multiplayer cricket game on mobile only 12 months back. It was never there. I mean, it was there in consoles and PCs, but it never happened. So the mass in India couldn't take to it, a big way. So it's only 12 months since, we released WCC Rivals, the multiplayer version. And, so we've just begun that journey. And to get to also again, staying with the point of, esports itself, we need to look at a lot of tournament operators. Like, for example, if you're investing in an esports team, you need a return on investment. So there are regular tournaments that we conduct, but, probably there should be 7, 8, 10 tournaments that should happen simultaneously. So my return on investment. So that's a way, then it becomes very organic as a growth thing. Some publishers can do, some tournaments publishers can do, some can be enabled through tournament operators. So there is that is something, a journey we've started on and we're working on. And we are the number one cricket game. We have to to get to FIFA kind of thing. Uh, One of the things that is very critical is to have official licenses, whether it is Pro Evolution Soccer or FIFA. They have official licenses, though not Pro Evolution Soccer may not have all the licenses, but they have some of the licenses. I think that gives a lot of credibility and that I would say more immersion when you have player lookalike and all those things. So that is one thing, and then improving the production quality. That is something. Now I think with WCC3 we are much finer finished. Real motion capture animations, all that. I think it's production quality, also enabling the ecosystem. I think those are the things that will do it for us.
Vijay, what's your take as a sitting outside, listening to us and looking at from a, if let's say somebody were to make you a pitch on the virtual cricket, what would you be really looking for? Because a lot of people who would be listening to us are also listening to really see what kind of investment opportunities does this space have, and it would be great for you to really come in here.
So I think for cricket, obviously, the whole esports and like Raj and we were talking about, it's new. So, and cricket is so popular, so big in the physical world to try to compare it and try to match that is always going to be a challenge. And I think you shouldn't try to compare that, but develop this in a more parallel, in a parallel mode and leverage the concept of cricket, the concept of the game and the excitement that surrounds the real world and build a virtual world around it as a separate stream completely. And that the common thread is really only the game itself. But beyond that, it's just the excitement, and that comes in it's a completely different skill set. It's a completely different set of players who will be playing the esports game. So I think that's where you shouldn't try to compete, but leverage the popularity of the physical game. And that's, I think, exactly where you're going with this. So cricket obviously is popular. And the overlap might be in terms of using of technology for physical skill development, but that's a different thing completely. I mean, that you can have that technology come in for older people playing cricket or the younger people, but that skill is a different skill. You're building different skills for that. So the esports and gaming, I think, has a lot of scope, but it has to be developed in parallel, learning from the physical world. That's what it is.
Rahul, do you want to come in and have some thoughts here and around what do you think could be done?
So, I just made some notes, very, very interesting things which I've been hearing. The deeper you go into India, you just have various formats of gully cricket. कहीं पे बैट नहीं होता, कहीं पे पैड नहीं होता, कहीं पे स्टंप्स नहीं होते. But this gaming on esport has given them a taste of real cricket, so that awareness is there and that aspiration is growing. Smash has proven something, that even in Bombay, where they have access to the best stadium, best this, best that, they don't have time. The cricket alleys were normally full. What we see is scaling Smash at fraction of a cost, and trying to meet the aspirations of these small towns, small villages at 35 rupees a over, which otherwise would have been available in a Smash. If this hypothesis, which we were actually working on, comes true, then it is there to stay, it is there to scale. I don't see the government of India or anyone coming and saying village after village, small town after small town, we will give you bats, we'll give you pads, we'll give you a ground, we'll give you everything or anything close to what you've been seeing on the mobile in the esports space. That's one important thing which we will at least be pursuing, and it's our belief. The second point is play and win, something which we tried. VR gives you the ability of playing 2 overs, telling I'm going to score 10 runs or I'll be out once. If you win, I give you double the money. If you lose, I forfeit the money. So you have a game as popular as cricket. You are playing it, and you are winning or losing against yourself. And while all this is happening, you have a variant of a cafe coffee day around. If this concoction succeeds, the possibilities are infinite, especially in a country like India. It's a belief, not tried yet. But at least we come March, we would definitely like to, try this. Between aspirations and a scaled Smash.
You're on mute.
2 cents. People competing against themselves, they set a target, 10 runs, 5 runs, 2 times out. If he wins, he takes double the money. If he loses, he forfeits everything. So just these 2 thoughts, and
I would love to see that happening in March, April. A big fan of the small town India and the opportunities which you are chasing, and really looking forward to that whole concept of a cricket with a concoction of cafe coffee day around it. I like the way you put it across. It's a belief and yet to be tried and tested. So I think all of us are trying to really build something. We are trying to build in our respective ways, and trying to have this space of cricket and trying to leverage that opportunity in multiple ways, looking at our own different thesis. Whether Akshat is creating viewers, Raj is creating players, you are creating the whole entertainment, immersive entertainment as for the rural India. I think we are, Sujit, you have come out with a coaching idea and the application of coaching today. I think, on this platform, and that'll be interesting for people to really explore how virtual cricket can be really used for coaching. So I think a lot of us will attempt in right earnest to look at this opportunity of cricket, and I think something good is going to really happen on the formats, because of 500 million people who would love to have cricket. I'm sure the brains listening to us and here on this panel will be able to figure out the formats which will be endearing to play, compete, and watch in using the technologies as we move along. Vijay, any kind of closing remarks? Otherwise, happy to take on any questions, if any, from the thing. Otherwise, we are right there on our session time.
In terms of closing remarks, suggest that I think we have obviously 1 hour is not enough time at all to do any justice on this, but I think to really engage with our panelists, with you, Manish, on this subject moving forward. So this shouldn't just be a one-time conference thing. So please do engage with us, whether it's through TIE or separately, and see where the future of this. It's a very, very nascent technology in terms of deployment. So it's something that the market is there, the money is there, so there's almost no reason why it should fail, other than our lack of interest in putting it out there. So it's a huge opportunity, and I think there's for investors, for developers, for business people. So it's just a matter of doing it.
And you've got some outstanding entrepreneurs in the panelists. So Vijay, they are not going to just leave you like that. Don't worry. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Sincerely, thanks for joining me on this panel. And Gunjan, over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, gentlemen, for deep diving into e-gaming, something that's still in its nascent stage. I'm sure a lot of business entrepreneurs, not only the panelists, but the others watching, will have really benefited from this talk. Thank you so much again for giving us your time.